Hey guys, thank God it's Friday. How about some great gist to wrap up the month of February? Now stay with us for the next 30 minutes as it's about to be a little late episode of Pop Kasa. Now today we'll continue the conversation on Nollywood's connection with ritual killings, and we'll also pick up a conversation that has come up in the aftermath of Ricky Rick's death. We'll also get into the Kanye West versus Pete Davidson controversy. Now let's meet our guest for this episode. Not too fast. We'll do that after the break. Stay tuned. I am Sean Bankali. You're watching Pop Kasa. Now to get into the nitty-gritty of some of the week's biggest entertainment stories with me is family member, presenter, and fine girl, Balale Oluchi Babalala.
Hi, people. So good to be back.
Yeah, I know. And joining her on the couch today is fellow family member, colleague, fine boy, and everything you can think about. Fine boy, Trust Roy.
Not so far. I accept your compliment.
What an introduction. Pele, how are you?
I'm fine, thank
Are you ready for Pop Kasa?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right, let's dig it, guys. Now, the beauty of every art form is in the freedom it gives creatives to express and tell diverse stories. But when this expression is believed to be wrongly interpreted by the people that it is meant to inform, educate, or entertain, there just may be a need for a rethink. Nigeria has witnessed a series of killings that have been tagged as ritual killings. What has shocked them the most in recent times is the age of those implicated in the horrible crimes. There have been fingers pointed at Nigeria's film industry, Nollywood. The industry has been accused of passing the wrong message on ritual killings and get-rich-quick schemes. And now the Nigerian government has called scenes involving ritual killings or money-making rituals to be stopped going forward. And that brings me to my very first question, guys. Do you think Nollywood bears any responsibility when it comes to Nigerians believing that they can become rich from ritual killings?
But I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think Nollywood has anything to do with that. They are just acting their part because this actually exists in some part of the society.
Okay.
So it is what they see they are trying to portray in their movies. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to do that to make money. So there are other legit ways. There are other movies that as well teach people to work hard, be focused, be passionate in what you're doing, you eventually succeed. So.
Okay, how about you?
We've had this conversation on Popcaster before, previously, when the whole issue came up again. And it's quite sad that it's getting to a stage whereby the government are getting involved with a hearsay, them say, it's now becoming
a drama between Nollywood and the government.
I don't see why it makes any sense that Nollywood should be, actually, Nollywood and ritual killing should be like this.
Okay. I mean, because there are other lessons that Nollywood teaches. So
of
why
course.
attribute?
And to look at it, if you look at it, anytime you see a Nollywood film that talks about ritual killings, at the end, the storyline is always that it's bad to kill somebody, or at the end, the person will not die and confess that this is what I did, though. So the storyline, the moral lesson is always that, never be part of like ritual killing. So for someone to now take away the lessons to be learned from these movies and now say that the movies are teaching people to kill people or let blood because of rituals to make money.
So that narrative is false.
It's false.
All right, guys. So earlier this week on Village Square Africa, we had Nollywood legends Segun Arinde and Kanayo about this issue. KOK in particular has had to speak out about all the memes people share about him and the roles that he has played in Nollywood. It was even called Nai Sacrifice. They call him that. All right, so here is what he had to say on VSA.
Nollywood has tried a lot to not just bring the image of this country to a better. We have tried in our best ways to tell our stories by ourselves to our own people in the language they understand, and they've been understanding it. The socioeconomic realities of Nigeria that's leading people into crime, hunger and poverty.
This is a breach on the fundamental rights of creative writers, either as actors or producers or screenwriters, as captured in Section 39 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999.
seeing movies that are even coming out from Nollywood these days that have nothing to do with rituals and all that. I was going to tell you that a young man said he Googled, I saw on Facebook or was it on YouTube, how to use humans for sacrifice. So I'm asking myself the question, so is Nollywood now responsible for that? The next question I'll ask is, all the girls that, I'm saying this with due respect, that most of these members of the National Assembly and all the big men carry and all that, and we see them flaunt around, is it Nollywood that's teaching them how to do that?
Now the legends have spoken. What do you guys have to say about that?
I think they're right. They've said everything that needs to be said. You cannot take away the good things the industry has made. I mean, this industry was built from zero.
Okay.
I mean, from the days of there's a movie by Onyeka Onwenu that they made a woman swear because of her kids and something from those ancient movies from other parts. Like Nollywood has been built from scratch without no government intervention, and all of a sudden, because somebody is moving emotion that Nollywood is being attributed to ritual killings, and then you just want to shut down the industry. It doesn't work.
Watching a movie will make you go and meet a herbalist, or will it make you kill your mother or
your brother? After they are portrayed to you that if you do it, you will die at the end.
And it will end well. I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, it's a personal decision. People do this of their own will, of their own choice. You even see parents encouraging their kids to do it nowadays. So it's not by Nollywood influence. So it's totally unfair for me.
There are a lot of things that can be attributed to ritual killings.
Okay.
The House of Representative member that raised this bill in the House of Assembly.
Yes, I was going to
he made mention of a lot of other factors, including the educational system, including Nollywood at some point, including like the display of wealth that lots of people do at the moment. There are lots of things that he raised, but Nollywood just took stray bullets at some point. So if we look at it, there are lots of things. People go to the clubs, are being influenced. These politicians are showing how affluent they are.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate for a little minute. Yeah. I think the reason why Parliament, Nigeria's government is blaming Nollywood is because for so many years, movies was what people were watching. There was no social media.
That
was the major media outlet, media platform. And if they did not portray this thing, Parliament feels like people would not have access to that information.
We've been watching
to an extent, they spread what we now know, which is what is now making people do this thing.
But in the other way, it wasn't this bad when social media was not the in thing. Let me use that word. When people started paying too much attention to social media, so if you're not on social media, it's like you're not existing.
I see your point.
That was when it got bad. That was when it really got bad.
So it's safe to say that social media even spreading more than movies.
Exactly.
It influences
3 young guys that were caught recently.
Okay, in Ogun State.
Yes, with one of their girlfriends.
Yes.
They said they learned it on Google, I've been on Facebook. It had nothing to do with Nollywood.
Okay.
So, I mean,
they have a WhatsApp group now.
So, guys, where do parents come in? I mean, the head of NFVCB, that's the National Film and Video Censorship Board, censorship board, said that rather than blame Nollywood, Nigerian parents are responsible for the increase in ritual killings in the country. Meanwhile, he said the board has the responsibility for censoring and classifying films and videos thrown to the public, and parents and guardians are the chief custodians of what their children watch. So, do you think Nigerian parents are beginning to fail their children? Movies, social media, whatever.
Well, I think the level of discipline we used to have then, it's no longer existent. Like, they don't pay attention to kids as much.
Parents are now more liberal?
Yes, they are more liberal. They don't pay attention to what their kids do, and they let a lot of things go. Meanwhile, when your kids go to school and come up with a particular attitude or say something, you find out where it's coming from. If you bring something to the house, you dare not, even if it's food, my days, you dare not, or handshake, come back home. Who gave it to you?
I think I would disagree.
Okay.
Parents have always been strict. I mean, I grew up...
Even in 2022?
Yes, parents are still very much strict. I grew up in communities where they would say, maybe one person, they train Peking.
Yes,
so if my parents are ignoring something I'm doing, I should have uncles. I should have other family members, people in the community that will say, hey, you put your son in check or put this boy in check.
But we had incidents this month, and I think another one last month, of parents encouraging their kids to go and do Yahoo Plus.
Well, they've always been bad parents.
One, they even used his sibling
that time.
Sacrifice.
I saw that one. You want Eastern States.
They've always been bad parents. In their days, they're bad parents.
Even
now
currently,
they're bad parents.
Okay.
So because of a 1%, you cannot now say the general 90% encouraging their children.
And I think this is why
as this.
Because social media now is spreading the word.
I think this is why the government one time was going to say that parents would take half of the punishment that comes with crime.
I think it's good.
Yes, I really think they should push that.
No,
I think so. So when you know that if my child does this thing and the government catches him, I'm going to spend 5 years out of his 10 years. You would be more responsible to that
So
child.
do you think most of the kids that are engaging in this Yahoo ritual killings are actually living with their parents? No, most times they're in houses in Lekki with their friends somewhere. They don't even go home to see their parents at home. In fact, I was having a conversation with one of our colleagues sometime, and he gave us a story about someone that did ritual killings and stuff. This dude doesn't give people money with his hand. Someone else has to give him money.
Someone else.
There are stories you hear of people that if they do ritual killings, you have to spend a 12 million naira in one day. You cannot give money to your parents. These are real stories that we hear.
These stories exist. They don't stay in their house. They stay somewhere else.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm not a 90s baby. In my day, if you don't sleep in the house at night, they will ask you where you are coming from.
How old were you when you left home? How old were you when you left home?
You don't want to know on national TV because if I tell you, they will say this.
Because when you really look at it, lots of young people are not. I know people that left home by 14,
So you don't
15.
think parents should take half of the blame for
No,
their children's
they have done their bits from infancy. They have done their bits. If now you know what here, when they don't train you.
So where do we throw the parents who support their children? Trust.
If they
because actually there are some parents that do.
Yeah. Of course, like I said earlier, there's a 1% of bad parents.
True.
They catch your pikin. If in ancient days or when people still live in a village, they would bring out the parents to the town square. They would disgrace them and all those things. But now, we're very African. If you ask me, we're very African. So there's no way we have to refer back to our roots at some point. So these people, parents that their kids are engaged in this thing, if they're caught as people that aided and abetted the crime, they should pay for it now.
So to
but
balance
not be saying I don't know, I'll come with the pay for waiting and picking to as per.
To balance things, they should investigate.
Of course.
Or use juju. So if your parents was involved, take half. If your parents was not involved, they should be exonerated.
Of course.
All right, guys, the conversation on this one is not over. Now, in early February, the House of Representatives resolved to declare a national emergency on ritual killings in Nigeria, and we are waiting for the final verdict on that one. Now, before we move on to the next story, we are going to take a short break now. Don't go anywhere, guys.
News Central TV, Africa's #1 storyteller, has come with the best of both worlds. With a combination of news app and live TV, we ensure that you keep track of the latest headlines, breaking news, and in-depth analysis from professional journalists from around the continent. Download the News Central TV app on Android and iOS and get started today. Don't forget to follow us on News Central's social media platforms. News Central, Africa First.
You're still watching Pop Kasa. Now, let's take a minute to quickly apologize. We were supposed to be joined by Nigerian media personality Dame Really Edun, but unfortunately, he could not make it. He was unavoidably absent, but we are going to pay back for that. We promise. Now, this next conversation comes with a suicide trigger warning, guys, so stay alert. Following the death of 34-year-old South African rapper, songwriter, singer, composer, actor, entrepreneur, and fashion designer Ricky Rick, in the early hours of Wednesday, celebrities, fans, colleagues, and friends of the star have been sharing their tributes to him. But we want to focus on what South African rapper AKA posted on Instagram. He said, "Let's keep it 100. The last 5 people I know who took their own lives, 4 of them are men. I've seen so much suicide over the last year. I can't even feel anything anymore. I've spoken to a lot of people. Some of them said, you just got a bag from African Bank, blah, blah, etc. That tells you everything you need to know about this algorithm world where we have created for ourselves to live in." Ricky went to Hilton. He grew up around money. I hope that very soon we can address the issue of how damaged and broken the men in this country are. We have no one to talk to. We just pat each other on the back and say, get on with it. Be strong, my boy. But in reality, we are traumatized. Generational trauma passed down to us. He added, "We are crying out for your help. This is so traumatic. Please, let's not forget about us. We are not perfect by any means, but damn, look at the stats. We are taking our own lives at high records. Something has to change." End of quote by South African rapper AKA. So guys, around the world, more men than women commit suicide. It is estimated that for every suicide that occurs worldwide, there are up to 20 suicide attempts. 20 before the final suicide. Now, the figures for Africa are limited, but match up with global statistics. Do you agree with AKA when he said that there are a lot of damaged men and broken men than women?
Trust me, you see them every day on Twitter.
Wow.
There are lots of damaged and broken men.
Yeah, on this I'll agree with him. There are a lot of damaged men and women. And the truth is, they don't talk about it like women do. Women, we find it easy to just open up. We always look for someone to confide in. It's easy for us to just talk. We're the ones that communicate. But men, they expect you to be a man.
Yeah.
So you need to man up to be a man.
Where is the day that I expect? Because this is 2022.
It's the responsibility the world has placed on them.
The society.
As men. The
Society,
in general,
including other
has placed
damaged
on
men
them.
and women.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So
Wow.
you'd find situations where people place standards that they cannot even keep. Do you get? So men are going through stuff, and you find other men. I think I was having a conversation with someone some time ago, and I was giving a typical example. In one of the companies that I worked with one time, a colleague was sharing an experience of how he was sexually assaulted. But he was raped when he was
young.
His first sexual experience was when he was raped by someone. He was an assault, and then other men started laughing and making jokes about it. It was like, "Oh, you enjoyed it," and so would you say, as much as it sounds like a joke, but this is someone that's been serious, telling you about something that hurt him, something that damaged him in some way, and you're joking about it. So you see, like, there's this standard, this group of men that are damaged are the ones creating the standards for other people.
So it has nothing to do with our parents anymore, or the society telling you, man up, man up. Now it is our fellow men.
Yeah, everybody gas cholesterol bullet, no. But
really, there's also a level you get to,
right?
A level of realization you get to. You know that I owe it to myself to heal myself or whatever I've gone through.
See, that's if
so
you
number
know
one, you either choose
exactly. That's if you know you're damaged.
Yes.
You would know. That's the funny thing. I know about 3 people that have attempted suicide before. And the truth is, they got to the point where, like, I need to talk to somebody.
Okay.
And then they had 1 or 2 people they could identify, they could talk to. Some people, especially in Africa, when people hear you're going for therapy, you're having psychological issues, they're like, okay, it's your village people or something. Sometimes
They either mock you,
it's mental issue.
Yeah.
It's stress, it's peer pressure, it's monetary, it's different things causing it.
All right, so Trust, when you see AKA talk about generational trauma being passed down to younger men, what comes to your mind? What do you think he's talking about? Generational trauma being passed down?
I think it still boils down to maybe damaged fathers passing on some kind of toxic masculinity traits to their younger sons, manning up. Don't cry. You don't have to be in the kitchen because, you know, it's for women. So stuff like that, the undue pressure to become really
There's trauma of
tough.
actually growing up and experiencing violence in different ways in the home you grew up. It kind of affects your mind. Some of them tend to react to the society in a negative way. And there are certain situations they get themselves into, they just flip because of the circle which they grew up.
Okay, so let's quickly identify them. What are the things putting men under pressure in this African context?
Women, oh, they are number one.
Guy. I beg, we are not you people's problem. We are not your issue.
I feel like women are like number one. Okay, let me just not say
women are the number one things putting men under pressure in Africa, and that is why they are committing suicide.
No,
Trust.
not be like
on
that.
national TV.
We are not. Excuse me, we are not their issue. See, let's be frank. I think Trust was just trying to pull his stunts. That was a comedy break. Anyway, so I think the number one problem is finances.
Right, this money thing.
Money matter.
But money
is very
doesn't solve
important.
everything,
But it's important.
It's important.
Don't say, please, I've passed the stage of saying it doesn't solve everything. It solves almost everything to an extent. Okay. So money, and then there's peer pressure as well. And then there's that of family and expectation.
And then undiagnosed
black tax. Black tax.
And then I also figured out undiagnosed mental illness is also a thing, because if you look
sometimes you don't know that you're clinically depressed.
Exactly. Sometimes some people are bipolar. Some people have mental illnesses that have not been diagnosed yet. So
properly.
You can't exactly tell. So
now,
all
the
the
World
factors
Health Organization revealed in 2016 that Nigeria has the highest suicide rate among African countries, with over 17,000 lives lost to suicide.
That's fact.
And you can only imagine what the pandemic has done to people's mental health.
Exactly.
2020 was not funny. Now, what do you guys think we need to change about our societies, African societies?
A lot of things need to change.
Let's identify a few.
I think first, from orientation, teaching our younger children, fortifying their minds. I feel like when people get to the stage where they want to commit suicide, it's because maybe their minds are not exactly mentally ready for the problems they are facing. Okay. Even if they are mentally ready, do they know that I should talk to somebody? Can they identify who I should talk to? Okay. And when they even see somebody, I've had a case of someone telling me that, oh, I said, see a therapist. Like, the therapist, does the therapist know what I'm going through?
Orientation, reorientation. Yeah, what do you think? What are the things we need to change about our society to reduce this rate of suicide?
As parents,
yes,
from childhood, you need to talk to your kids.
Thank you.
You need to teach them to communicate with you, to open up with you. Let them be able to talk to you about issues, about problems. And then you need to let them be able to departmentalize pressures. When it's not your time, it's not your time. Don't carry unnecessary bonding.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right. On that note, I would leave you with this. If you're experiencing suicidal thoughts or contemplating suicide, please reach out to a mental health provider. Please do so. Don't take your life. Now, moving away from that, if you've been following American entertainment news, you definitely have come across this one. Kanye West, now legally known as Ye, has spent the past few months publicly expressing his desire to rekindle things with ex-wife Kim Kardashian. Are you surprised? Now, this is in spite of their ongoing divorce proceedings and her relationship with Pete Davidson. Since Kardashian went public with her relationship with Davidson, West has been taking shots at the comedian on social media. This is even though he has been involved with multiple women since the couple separated. West has repeatedly criticized Kardashian's dating life and decision-making when it comes to their children. And we all remember the birthday saga that happened on January the 15th, where he accused her of hiding the location of a birthday party for their daughter, Chicago, while he was live on Instagram. I remember that one. Very messy. Now, West has continued to diss Davidson, which many have described as a bullying campaign. He dissed him in a song featuring the game and another song he was featured on. On February 14, Ye took to Instagram to share an image of a man having another in a chokehold, writing, "Upon my wife's request, please nobody do anything physical to Skate. I'm going to handle the situation myself." The post also included what appears to be a screenshot of text messages between the estranged couple. Kardashian accused West of creating a dangerous and scary environment, and the text also states that someone will hurt Pete and this will all be your fault. Kanye West has posted on his Instagram page screenshots of Davidson's deleted Instagram, writing, "Run Skate off the gram, tell your mother I changed your name for life." Oh my God, such a mess. Now, guys, do you think Kanye is doing too much at this point? Do you see it as bullying?
He was at first.
Okay.
But I think he has come to the realization that he's doing something wrong. So he has calmed down. Simply because I feel Kanye just wants to be loved for who he is.
Right.
So probably they had their difference. And I feel he's probably bipolar. These things just switch. He's very
So sometimes
needy.
it's normal, sometimes it's overdoing it.
He's very needy. So he needs both medical attention and physical, emotional attention.
Goodness. All right, Trust. At what point do you think Kanye crossed the line?
Kanye.
Why you pronounce it like an Igbo one?
Kanye. Oh goodness.
As much as I love Kanye, like I feel like me and Kanye think on the same level. Like we're business tycoons.
Oh shit, tycoon.
But I feel like where he crossed the line was the constant bashing of this guy
on his Instagram.
The first post he made about the guy, and Kim had to respond that people are going to take up this thing. Kanye has influence. So whether you're sick or you're not sick, I think you have a management, you have a team, you have people that are liable to you and you're also liable to them. So those people can keep you in check. And when you're constantly talking about this guy on social media like that, someone can just go one day because Kanye, my guy, when I love so much, I mean he has like a church or something.
Want to take a break for him.
Okay, Bolale, you are a lady. Let me ask you this one. Do you think all these things that Kanye is doing is going to get him what he wants, reunited with Kim?
I doubt it.
Nothing happened there.
As a woman.
Though the family themselves, the Kardashians are controversial. They seem to have a lot of issues with their relationships.
I think she's quite
and
exhausted,
marriage.
to be very honest.
It's tiring.
She's exhausted with the whole drama, the back and forth.
Kanye,
but I think if you ask me, Kanye is doing the most, but if you don't try,
calm down now.
But if you don't try, you're not getting. Do you know what it feels like to be in love?
All right. So on that question, Kim Kardashian's actions have made it clear that she does not want to reconcile. She asked the court to separate their divorce and custody issues and to declare her single. Some think that this is romantic, some think it is obsessive and sends a wrong message to men out there. Do you agree? Very quickly.
I don't know about the single part though.
But Kim said, why would she go and choose that kind of person to go and
do? But then she had left his house initially. Remember, then when he did that Donda album, she came out just in a bridal gown and both of them, they have their issues, I think.
All right.
There's no bad
Guys, we cannot exhaust this conversation. Honestly, we cannot. So thank you so much for joining us. And please, in case you have Kanye's WhatsApp number or you know any of his, help us tell him that he should stop that. Bolale, as a woman, has said that it will not get him back.
But you apply pressure, Jerry.
Don't apply pressure. Calm down.
I can give him the emotional strength and
Kanye, as a woman, I'm telling you to
apply
calm
pressure,
down.
my brother.
Don't apply pressure.
Leave all this thing. They are women. They can't.
That's
they can't
the end
understand
of
this
Pop
thing.
Kasa today, guys. Once again, we are sorry we could not be joined by Dane Relay for unavoidable circumstances. We'll see you again on Monday on E Central. Have a fabulous weekend. I'm Shirin Bankali.